welcome to the Narrowing Path, walking the spiritual walk. My name is Stephen Einstein. Thank you all for joining me again tonight as we go through and we do today's daily reading from James Allen's Daily Meditations. October's really been a fantastic month. I hope everybody that's been joining and following along has really been getting as much out of this as I have, and I'm looking forward to finishing this month out and as we track down the last couple of months of this year too. It's this year has gone by much quicker than I uh, kind of pointless to say felt like it should have, because I mean it's a day at a time. I get it, but sometimes you don't realize the days are passing as quick as they are. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this goes in the next phases of this whole thing. So this will be fresh to you and fresh to me, meaning that you'll get my genuine response, reactions, observations, what I relate to about the reading, because this will be my first time hearing it or reading it right here on this podcast with y'all. So here we go. This is October 23rd's reading from James Allen's Daily Meditations. Virtue consists in fighting sin day after day. Cease to tread every day. Cease to tread every byway of dependence, every winding sideway that tempts thy soul into the shadowland of the past and the future, and manifest thy native and divine strength now. Come out into the open road. That which you would be and hope to be, you may be now. Non-accomplishment resides in your perpetual postponement, and having the power to postpone, you also have the power to accomplish, to perpetually accomplish. Realize this truth, and you shall be today and every day the ideal man of whom you dreamed. Act now, and lo, all things are done. Live now, and behold, thou art in the midst of plenty. Be now, and know that thou art perfect. Holiness consists in leaving sin. Holiness consists in leaving sin unnoticed and ignored to die by the wayside. Whoa, whoa. That's a big one, right? That's huge. That's just so full of potential. I just feel like is what we're talking about here. He's literally saying, be the person you want to be. Be the person you're striving to be today. Why do we keep putting it off? This is talked about so much. I've talked about this so much. A lot of self-help today talks about this type of thing, but there will have to always come a day and a change where you start to be that change. Won't there be? Because one day, regardless of how much you prep or do not prep, how much you plan or do not plan, how much you think about it or do not think about it, there will be that same day where one day you did it one way, the next you did it another. Right? The only thing that's postponing that is you. If you want to be more honest, be more honest. Today, not tomorrow. Make things right now. Why? Why wait on these things? It's a beautiful perspective to be able to actually hold. And remember, you want to stop eating sugar? I'm only using this one because literally it happened to me today. I was at a 12-step meeting and I was driving home and I was like, man, I've done really well, but I want some cookies. And I called somebody. I called them randomly. And throughout that conversation, I was like, I really think I'm going to go get some cookies. And then they said, okay. And I said, actually, no, I'm not. Because I want to quit eating all this sugar I've been putting in my body. And then I didn't, I guess, came home. There has to be a day where I become the person where just doesn't eat sugar, doesn't eat the sweets, doesn't put the sugar in the coffee, right? That day has to happen sometime to have that change occur. Instead of just thinking about it and regretting it. So, all right, let's go through this line by line. This is a very powerful reading today, and I am so grateful for it. It's about the power of now again, I believe. So, virtue consists in fighting sin day after day. Then remember, sin here is, I mean, it's the same concept of sin, but the undertone from James Allen is that all sin originates in ignorance and a lack of understanding. So, if we can keep that in mind, we have to fight those tendencies, those temptations, and then do the work to remove the temptation. That was one part of what this ridiculous example it might be for sugar. Why did I want sugar? Oh, I was used to it. I'm normally doing it. Blah, blah, blah. That's a lot of, might be some truth to the habit of it, right? But then I realized I'm really tired. It's been a long day. I right from go. And I realized I use sugar to give me that quick boost to get through the rest. And then I have a huge crash that I'm craving it the next day. So what am I really doing? So virtue, remember that well, I'll re-reference more. So uh, earlier in the podcast, we talked about what virtue was, and virtue is the conscious decision to not act in a sinful way, in an ignorant way, to know and be fully capable, to know it, to know the selfish, self-centered way to act, to know you're fully capable of acting that way, to know you've potentially acted that way previously, and then to knowingly choose the right thing to do, to knowingly choose the loving thing to do, to knowingly choose to practice a virtue. So really, this fighting is a choice and practice of virtues, the love, honesty, forgiveness, hope, faith, courage, integrity, right? These are the things we practice. We choose to practice those, and that is what this fighting sin day after day is about. We stand firmly on our principles and our virtues. And eventually, as we'll read again later, the sin just eventually disappears. The desire goes away. So, cease to tread every byway of dependence, every winding sideway that tempts thy soul into the shadow land of the past and the future, and manifest thy native and divine strength now. Come out into the open road. So, cease to tread every byway of dependence, right? One of the biggest things that I've had to understand, comprehend, take into myself, and James Allen has been a massive part of me understanding this, is everything that I have placed dependence on. Now, there's the obvious things. We're talking about drugs, we're talking about alcohol, we're talking about other bad behaviors such as gambling, sexual promiscuity, attention seeking, egotism, anger, right? These are all things we become dependent upon. Cease to tread the byway of dependence. I had to remove my dependence upon all these things. I had to take the hooks out because they no longer served me. These old behaviors, these old habits, they no longer served me. They just destroyed me. Well, I used them to destroy myself more so. Maybe it's a better way to say it. But cease to tread every byway of dependence, every winding sideway that tempts thy soul into the shadow land of the past and the future. Manifest thy native and divine strength now. Come out to the open road. Don't keep running on these side trails. Don't keep getting distracted. Walk into this now. Be a part of this now. Come into the open road and walk the way of virtue and spirituality. It's a narrowing path, I hear. Haha, terrible joke, I get it, but had to. Come out to the open road. That which you would be and hope to be, you may be now. Right there, beautiful line. That which you would be and hope to be, you may be now. Do it. Just be that. Change your behavior. We get so locked in to the opinions of ourselves, the past habits we've held, the views others have of us, that it locks us into these terrible behaviors, these things that we would much rather rid ourselves of. Every time you hear someone say, "That's just how I am," no, it's not. It's how you choose to continue to be. Because you deny your ability to change it, you're choosing to keep it. Because everything you can change, absolutely everything you can change when it comes to habits and personality and things like that. Remove that dependence on it. Get rid of it. You can be who you would be and hope to be right now. Non accomplishment resides in your perpetual postponement. Look, if you don't do anything, nothing's going to happen. And that sounds so simple, but that is the reality of this. If you want to write a book, but you never start it, what do you think it's going to write itself? You want to take a class, but you never enroll or look up how to do it. Non accomplishment resides in your perpetual postponement. So, procrastination, we're talking about that. The shrinking from challenge, the shrinking from the unknown causes these things, that meaning the fear of these things. So, everything you don't accomplish resides in your perpetual postponement. Not because you can't do it, it's because you're not willing to. Very big difference. And having the power to postpone, you also have the power to accomplish. This is the thing. This is another ridiculous potential example, but it's very relevant. You have a pile of laundry. It's been washed, it's sitting on the table to be folded for days. And every day you look at it, I got to get to that. I'm going to do it tomorrow. Got to get to that. I'm going to do it tomorrow. Eventually, it just becomes a fixture that you've built up and you've got all this emotional baggage around because you keep beating yourself up over the fact you haven't done it. When in reality, every time you say, I'll do it tomorrow, you're just building that deep or digging that hole deeper. When in reality, next time you see it, you could say, I'm going to do that now. You have the power to accomplish, to perpetually accomplish. See something, do something. That simple. I think a big problem with this today is distractions so readily available as well on our cell phones with all of the social media platforms and those quick dopamine shot videos. They keep us entrenched in a life we want to change. And we knowingly participate. But we have the power to accomplish, to perpetually accomplish. Realize this truth, he says, and you shall be today and every day the ideal man of whom you dreamed. What an encouraging and uplifting statement. Realize this truth that you can accomplish today, perpetually accomplish instead of perpetually postpone. You can change that. And you shall be today and every day the ideal man of whom you dreamed. With that guarantee, why would you not change that? Why that guarantee, why would you not at least try? Take the first steps. You can be that ideal man of whom you dreamed, but you just have to take the actions. You have to perpetually accomplish. Act now and lo. All things are done. Simple as that. Take the actions, and then the actions are done. Live now and behold, thou art in the midst of plenty. Actually be present in your life and realize how abundant your life actually is. Instead of living in a fear scarcity mindset that there's never enough, when in reality, there's plenty. Then this one, the be and the know are in italics, so I'll read it with emphasis. Be now and know that thou art perfect. That almost gives you chills, doesn't it? Be now and know that thou art perfect. Be where you are, right as you are. Know you're perfect for right where you're at. That might change in a minute. That might change in a day. That might change in a year. But be now and know that thou art perfect. Come out of that rat race you have in your head, those regrets and remorse you've, excuse that, constantly build up in your mind. Just be now and allow yourself to be the perfect image of you. What a wonderful reading. Now, this last line, holiness consists in leaving sin unnoticed and ignored to die by the wayside. So we fight sin on a daily basis by choosing to live a virtuous and spiritual life, principled life, right? Unnoticed and ignored. When temptation comes up, sin comes up, you do not act, you do not consider, you barely acknowledge, if that. You look at it and do the right thing anyway. It is not a choice anymore. It's a routine. It is a habit. It is a common occurrence to just choose the virtuous thing rather than entertain that. Holiness consists in leaving sin to die by the wayside. Sin is starved. That's for sure. So, wow. Very powerful reading today. Absolutely stunned by it. Very much enjoyed it. And I am definitely looking forward to tomorrow. So, thank you, everybody that's been joining me. I look forward to seeing the follow up tomorrow for sure. So, until next time, thanks.